What's going on, people? Welcome back to Mandem Football. As always, it's your boy Demeachnyc here. Like, comment, and subscribe, as always, on Mandem Football. Of course, you can follow me on Instagram at Demeachnyc, and of course, follow me on X, Mandem_football. And in today's video, this is about, of course, Arsenal's friendly preseason match, the Emirates Cup that they played today against Athletic Bilbao. Arsenal 3, Athletic Bilbao 0. Let's get into this. First things first, this was an imperious performance by Arsenal. I think this was one of the matches where not only as just a spectator, but also as a fan, I should say, this is the best I've seen Arsenal play in quite a long time. We already know that Arsenal last season did not have the greatest of seasons in the Premier League, and there's been a lot of criticism about their style of play. But I can say right now, after what I saw today, that will definitely change going into next week's game against Manchester United. Many fans were complaining about the style of play and how things were during the preseason, and it was clear that the tactics and the changes needed to be done. And of course, knowing how good of a manager Mikel Arteta is not stupid enough to see that there needs to be changes, and those changes were made with the starting 11 that seemingly is going to be playing against Manchester United at Old Trafford. He played a 4-2-3-1 today. 4-2-3-1, a double pivot with Martin Zubimendi and Declan Rice as the two double pivots, as well as Martin Odegaard playing more freely as a number 10 with Martinelli on the left-hand side and Saka on the right-hand side and Victor Gyökeres up top. And this was an exceptional performance from the first minute to the 90th minute. Let's just break it down because there was so much to be said from certain players, from the tactics being done, and everything from just the performance overall. It was really a standout game. Let's first get into who, of course, everybody paid their money to see online through the stream, and of course at the Emirates if you're able to go to the game. The striker, of course, Victor Gyökeres. And all I have to say is that guy is a killer, right? This guy is a killer, right? This guy is just unbelievable. I mean, I made a video about him months ago telling you how good of a player he is. And of course, he goes to Arsenal Football Club and he proves exactly why he is what he says he is and what people believe him to be. One of the best, if not the best and most dangerous striker in world football right now. I have no doubts about that. In my respective opinion, before even joining Arsenal, I believe that Victor Gyökeres was the most dangerous striker in world football, and I believe he's proven that as of right now. He did score one goal today. It was a great header, and that is the most ironic thing is that many people are saying that he can't score headers because of his posture, and that, you know, he's really poor in the air for a striker like him. He proved people wrong. And you know, to me, that sort of agenda and that sort of, you know, interactions and conversations we have about, you know, players not being able to head the ball and that he was going to flop at Arsenal because he's clunky and that he isn't the most technically gifted player, well-rounded player, and that a lot of his goals are in transition. Well, I just don't understand it. And if you're with me here, please comment and let me know what you guys think about Victor Gyökeres, because I can't really fathom to understand why people think that this man will not score goals at Arsenal. And I'm not even saying that he scored 54 goals in 52 games last season, and he scored about 39 goals in about 29 games played at a certain time last season. But what I'm trying to say is that this is a guy that he creates goals for himself. Right, he creates chances for himself. That's what I want from a striker. That's what I want from an attacker. Right, there's one moment of play where he gets the ball down the left-hand side, which he loves. We know that he has a left-hand bias as a striker because he's a right-footed player, and he drifts out wide. And what I saw is that he gets the ball, and you seem, for a striker, it seems as though many strikers who, you know, are used to playing as a striker back to goal, right? The ball is going to be played to them. They're going to play it back to whoever they see in front of them. You know, play where you see is what we hear from a lot of strikers in terms of their link-up play and everything. But instead of playing it back to where he sees, he turns around and he tries to take on his men, and he tries to create separation. He tries to create chances for himself. That's what I like to see from a striker. That's what I like to see from a top level striker, because to me, Victor Gyökeres, from watching him at Sporting, he is a man's man striker. When you hear a man's man, this guy is a striker, right? This guy is the epitome of what makes a striker, right? He is a striker from the previous generation. He reminds me of prime Diego Costa. He reminds me of prime Romelu Lukaku. He reminds me that a bit of Jamie Vardy. You know what I mean? This is a guy that only wants to score goals, will do anything he can to get those goals, and he will create separation for himself. And he can do the dirty work, right? He loves to press with Martin Odegaard. He's a strong, big, compact striker who has an eye for goal. And we don't have many strikers like that right now. And I think Victor Gyökeres is perfect for Arsenal. He has everything to bring. But to me, right, the man of the match, the man that I don't even think made a bad pass today, was Martin Zubamendi. Martin Zuba Bentley is what I'm calling this guy, right? I said before on Twitter that there's going to be a point in time. Actually, before I even say that, I said that there's a few players that I do want to see play for Arsenal this coming season, and one of those players, along with Victor Gyökeres, is Martin Zubamendi. Right, this is a player that I adore for quite a while back, since he was at Real Sociedad. I have to understand that him, Martin Odegaard, Isaac, Marino, Ayazabal from Spain, these players, they're all top level players. Real Sociedad had one of the most talented players at their disposal. And all of those players are in the Premier League, and three of those players I just mentioned play for Arsenal. One of them plays for Newcastle, right? Alexander Isak. But I'm just saying right now, this is a top level player, guys. I said on Twitter, as I was just going to mention that, I said that there was going to be a point in time when we're going to really see Martin Zubamendi grab the world by his hands because of how good of a player he is. There's two games that I want you guys to watch if you haven't watched it already. It's go back and watch the second half of the Euro final against England and Spain, and the match against Spain, actually. I mean, Spain against Portugal in the Nations League final, right? I want you guys to go watch that game. And if you haven't seen this game today, please take a look and watch that game, because he is just an outstanding footballer. He reminds me of a faster and quicker Jorginho, and he reminds me of a very patient and technical and more versatile Partey, right? To me, he's a combination of two players at once that Arsenal once had. And, he makes everybody's life so much easier. And I personally believe that this is the signing that is the true revelation at Arsenal. He's the one that's truly going to make Arsenal more dynamic overall. I mean, without him, Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard and the players, the fullbacks, Calafiori, and who was on the other side? Oh, Timber and Ben White. He makes their lives so much easier. He really does. Zubamendi's a brilliant player, and I said already, he is a Bentley, right? Martin Zuba Bentley. If you ever hear that around, you heard it from me first, right? Martin Zuba Bentley. This guy is a top level player, and I've been a big admirer for months. I thought this guy was going to go to Liverpool, and it seemed like it didn't fall through. And let me just say this. That is a big blow. That is a big blow to not get someone like Martin Zubamendi, because dynamically Arsenal just looked so much different. And this is a very refreshing thing to see for any Arsenal fan out there, and pretty much any fan that watches and enjoys football from an objective standpoint. This is just incredible stuff that I saw Arsenal do today. Noni Madueke, I thought Noni Madueke was good today. I think a lot of fans had a lot to say about Noni Madueke, not because he wasn't a good player. I think it's just because a lot of fans expected that money that was put into him to go for a different player in that same position. But to me, I think what we've seen is that Arteta wants to take the likes of a Noni Madueke and turn him into a world beater. And I think Noni Madueke is more than capable of doing that. It's not the first time Mikel Arteta wanted somebody of that level or someone of that profile like Noni Madueke. A similar profile to Madueke is at Barcelona, Rafinha, who is at Leeds once before. And Arteta publicly made it known that he was interested in getting someone like Rafinha to Arsenal, but it just didn't fall through. So for him to get Noni Madueke and for Noni Madueke to be as efficient and dangerous as he was today, he could have gotten an assist if Gyökeres didn't hit the post and it actually went into the goal. He would have gotten an assist, and he deserved it because of how clinical and how aggressive and resilient he was to keep going forward down that left-hand side. And it's going to make it very hard for teams to really figure out how they're going to defend against Arsenal going into next season, because if you have someone like Noni Madueke, you have someone like Bukayo Saka, right, it's going to be tough. It's going to be real, real tough to be able to figure out what to do. On a quick note, I thought the likes of Bukayo Saka, of course, like usual, he was brilliant. I thought Martin Odegaard played better today. I think he could have done a little bit better with his passes and the through balls, but he tried. And I think, seeing him play further up the pitch is very refreshing to see, because we know how capable he is as a central midfielder. I would like to see Martin Odegaard play on the left-hand side more, so it could force him to play more direct. It won't have him, have to, play back and, keep the ball and try to keep everything under control. I think Arsenal should try and make that switch between him and Declan Rice if they are to set up the same way they did last year, where there's two number 8s instead of a double pivot with Zubamendi and Rice. That's just what I think. But I thought Rice was excellent. That recovery run he made with that awful corner that he had, I don't know what that was, but he came back and he recovered like a horse, like they usually call him, but I call him a unicorn for a reason, right? So I think Declan Rice was great. I thought Odegaard was decent. I thought Calafiori was something else today. And I think the thing about Calafiori is that I think Calafiori is the type of player that will be able to unlock a lot for Arsenal moving forward. He obviously has the pace that Miles Lewis-Skelly has, but not at the same level of Calafiori. And I think Calafiori just has an eye for, moving forward up the pitch down that left-hand side. And it helps allow the likes of, say, Martinelli, who likes to cut inside and make that drifting inside run. It'll allow that to happen. We saw that today with the goal for Saka. The ball was played to Martinelli, and then Martinelli played it through to Saka, and Saka was through on goal, open net, and he scored. So I think, Calafiori being able to do that with even someone like Ben White on the other side able to do that as well, and they're capable of playing as inverted fullbacks, it just gives Mikel Arteta so many options to choose from going into next season. But yeah, I thought Arsenal's game, like I said before, was excellent. I think we've seen a lot of good stuff from Arsenal. Nothing to worry about in terms of the center backs. Saliba was excellent, like usual. World class for a reason. Gabriel, excellent. Had nothing to say. Christian Mosquera, I must say, during the preseason really impressed me. He's much better than I thought going into this season. And I think he's giving a true run for Jakob Kivior's money. He might be out the door soon. But yeah, I really like what I'm seeing. I think the only thing I can ask for Arsenal to do is to get a top-level left winger, someone better than Martinelli. I think he's great, but I don't think he's good enough. I think Trossard isn't good enough, but he is clutch. It depends on how the club view this situation between the two of them. Who are they going to keep? Who are they going to sell? And it seems like Trossard might be the one to go. But if it were up to me, I think if it was a money situation, then try to get the best out of whoever would be worth more. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know who I would choose between Trossard and Martinelli. You get two separate players that are capable of two different things that can help the team. But I just know that both of them starting at Arsenal is not good enough for Arsenal to win the Premier League. And what I'm asking for as a fan is for Arsenal to go and sign either Eberechi Eze or Rafael Leao. I think both of them are excellent players. If it were up to me, I would pick Rafael Leao. I think he's a superstar talent. He's been around since 2021, 2020. We know how good of a player he is. He's silky. He's smooth. He's quick as hell. He's one of the fastest players in the world in his position. And once he's gone, he's gone. There's no getting back, right? And you know, someone like Rafael Leao and Victor Gyökeres up top with Saka, that will feed generations. And I've already said before that there are talks between his camp and Andrea Berta and the recruiting staff. I know that for a fact, but nothing has really been progressed yet. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I would love to see Rafael at Arsenal. That would be unbelievable. And I think that would be the one to really win Arsenal the Premier League. That would be the one to really win them anything that they really desire and that they're really going for this season. But if it's going to be Eze, I think that's a great signing as well. And I think that'll be toe-to-toe with the likes of Liverpool and Manchester City. But I think if they were to get someone like Rafael Leao, that's like an automatic they won the league. And if they didn't win the league, then a lot of questions have to be asked about the manager and the players at the club, because you can't have a good enough team like that and not win anything. But yeah, 3-0 to the Arsenal. They demolished Bilbao today. Can't wait for the next season to come. It's next Friday. It's going to be an amazing season. A lot of videos coming through. And let's just get ready for next season, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Like, subscribe in the video as always. Take care.